I think it's time I let you in on my plan. You seem to be fairly trustworthy. Why Cali the Don, King Cali, and all of the other Calis fight over the Holy Grail, I have been in the background cooking so much to be able to take the chalice right from under their noses. The new Spright strategy that I have built is built to be able to take on the meta, and today I will be showing you why and how.
No more wedgies for us nerds! Today, we shall reign supreme using the Spright engine. And yes,
I'm still just a normal guy that can be your friend. Let's have some fun testing the Spright strategy, as it's gonna be the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going phenomenal, but if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. One thing that I really hope makes your day is today's video, because it is a new series, technically a revised series. Actually, I had a series called The Gauntlet where we take strategies and we tested it against some of the best decks, went over it and see how did the strategy work. I'm actually going to be doing that, except in a different format, but still giving you the information that you need about Spright. The Spright strategy is thought of to be the next tier 0 strategy, and if you guys want to know how the deck works in a vacuum, I actually have a combo video that you can go ahead and check out to see how potent this strategy can be. But in this particular video, we are going to be taking Spright and pitting against some of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now to see how it will stack up in the TCG. Let's go ahead and jump on in so we can start talking about the Spright strategy and how this deck works. This is actually a really interesting strategy built off of being able to have a level 2 monster to your side of the field. Your Spright monsters can only gain their effects when they're a special summon, and fortunately, they can be special summoned while you control a level or a rank 2 monster. Your most important monsters are going to be Spright Jet, which allows you to add a Spright spell or trap card, and Spright Blue, which allows you to add a Spright monster from your deck to your hand except for itself. It's also going to be supplemented by 3 Spright Starter, which can special summon both Blue and Jet to your side of the field, allowing you to search a Spright spell or trap, or a Spright monster from your deck to your hand, meaning that this one card right here is full combo. Pot of Prosperity is going to help you get into your starter cards, and allow me to move these cards over here, as these are technically starters that I want to talk about. Deep Sea Diva is just one of those level 2 monsters that can special summon another copy of itself to the side of the field. Other options can include the Live Twin engine or the Nimble Beaver. Now, I decided to go with Deep Sea Diva in this build because since we're testing it, I wanted the deck to be able to tap into its maximum potential, the ability to be able to search hand traps to see how practical that is for this particular strategy. You can use Nimble Beaver or the Live Twin strategy. Both of them are fairly good, but I decided to go with Diva for that searchable or the potential to search a hand trap. There's also one copy of Atlantean Heavy Infantry. Something that the Diva engine has over the other engines is that Nimble Beaver can only summon Nimble Beaver, and the Live Twin monsters can only summon other Live Twin monsters. Well, if you have 2 copies of Diva in your hand, you can go Diva into Infantry. Infantry will gain the effect to be able to normal summon another Diva, and then Diva into Diva, giving you 4 level 2 monsters to your side of the field. And if you complement it with a Spright Red, you have full combo. So in essence, Diva has the highest potential out of all of the level 2 starters, and I really wanted to be able to captivate that to see if it's really worth playing Diva over the other ones, because we kind of know what the other ones already do. Swap Frog is the main monster in this deck. Getting into this card is stupid important, because being able to special summon Totally Awesome to your side of the field is just sauce. Being able to negate twice and add 2 waters through the effect of Spright Elf and Totally Awesome itself is a lot of times your knockout card. Ronin Totem allows you to special summon itself by banishing Swap Frogs that you use to send with Swap Frog, and Dupe Frog is actually really important, being able to summon itself to the side of the field off of Totally Awesome, protecting you from being able to be attacked. Now for the hand traps, this deck actually can run a ton of them, so we took full advantage of it. 2 copies of Nibiru, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 1 copy of Ogre, 1 copy of DD Crow, 2 Effect Veiler, 3 Imperm, and of course, the 3 Crossout Designator. Now in theory, Crossout Designator is a complete waste because this deck does have access to Spright Red, but I wanted to be able to protect myself from Forbidden Droplets and Dark Ruler no more, and see if this card was actually necessary going into the new format. The trusty Call by the Grave is always going to be there. Moving on to the extra deck, there's going to be 1 Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, 1 Downard, 1 Totally Awesome, 1 Cavalry, 2 copies of Gigantic Spright, 1 Cat Shark, 1 copy of Underworld Goddess, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Krishan Hockey Fabrics, 3 Spright Elf, 1 IP Masquerade, and 1 Solomon Great All Mirage. Now I am lacking in the XC department, but these monsters in IP Masquerade, Hockey Fabrics, Nightmare Unicorn, and Underworld Goddess are way stronger than the other cards, but I think only time will tell. For the side deck, there's 3 copies of Joel and Lockbird, 3 copies of Raigeki, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Dark Ruler No More, 1 Forbidden Droplet for the crossout target, 3 copies of Twin Twisters, and 1 Red Reboot. I built this deck having complete disrespect to every single one of the top decks because I genuinely want to see how this deck flows, and we'll be able to show you in some best of 3 series against some of the top decks. So in our very first game, we are going to play against Floowandereeze. And he doesn't open the best hand that you can possibly see, but he does open 2 disruptions through Infinite Impermanence and Ash Blossom, followed by an Impin, a Rise of the Mega Monarch, and a Pot of Duality. This Pot of Duality is literally going to determine victory or defeat. In our hand, Spright just so happened to open a pretty good consistent hand. There's Spright Red, Ronin Tonin, Effect Veiler, Deep Sea Diva, and the Swamp Frog. As since we don't see an Advent in the Adventure, Effect Veiler may play a huge role. Starting off, the opposing player is going to activate a Pot of Duality, looking in for a Robina here. He's gonna find the Floowandereeze Robina, normal summoning it to get Eaglin, and then summoning Eaglin. Of course, we use the Effect Veiler on the Floowandereeze Eaglin, as that is the correct play in case you were wondering. He sets a face down and passes his turn. For us, we start off with the Swap Frog, and the reason why we start off with Swap Frog right here is because we want to be able to make Totally Awesome, which actually allows us to play around cards like if he did have his Floowandereeze Dreaming Town or a form of Disruption. So he'll negate the Swap Frog with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We'll special summon our Spright Red, then use Deep Sea Diva to find another Diva, making Gigantic Spright. He uses his Infinite Impermanence on our Gigantic Spright, which is a really good move, but we're going to actually make Spright Elf to be able to special summon Swap Frog back to our side of the field. Swap Frog sends Swap Frog, then Ronnie will summon itself, we'll make a Totally Awesome, and now we can break the Floowandereeze board. Really isn't much that the opponent can do right here, as he does open Dimensional Shifter. We'll use Totally Awesome to summon Dupe Frog. He doesn't necessarily have a way to play. We'll special summon a Deep Sea Diva before we go into end phase, and this should be enough for game. Totally Awesome special summoning that last Swap Frog will make Gigantic Spright. Use Spright to be able to special summon Spright Blue. Spright Blue will add Spright Jet from the deck to the hand, making a Cat Shark, doubling the attack of Totally Awesome, and then going for game. It's going to be a pretty easy game for Spright, showing you that if you don't disrupt it correctly, it will be able to play through your deck. Now we're looking for a swifty 2-0 scrape against one of the top strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Kali Dodon will be sent home packing if Intellectual Kali has anything to say about this. And our hand is going to be looking pretty saucy. Joel and Lockbird against no Dimensional Shifter is going to be great. Spright Starter, Pot of Prosperity, Deep Sea Diva, and Spright Jet. This deck is fairly consistent against a Rise of the Mega Monarch. Oh man, you hate to see it. But then there's Infinite Impermanence, Floowandereeze Advent in the Adventure, Floowandereeze Magnificent Map, and a Toucan. So we're going to go ahead and start off this game here as he'll go first, activating the Magnificent Map, using its effect to be able to banish the Robina, summoning the Toucan, and then chaining the effect of Toucan to get the Robina. Summoning the Robina, we'll go ahead and he'll add the Floowandereeze Eaglin, using the Eaglin effect, but it will meet a Droll and Lockbird. From there, they're going to set 2 cards face down and pass, and we draw Twin Twisters off the top. Sheesh. That's going to destroy the Infinite Impermanence and the Magnificent Map, normal summoning the Deep Sea Diva. That'll flip up the Advent of the Adventure for no reason. We'll then summon another Diva, special summon the Spright Jet, and then continue on with combo. Spright Starter finds Spright Blue adds Spright Red is our 5th summon to prevent Nibiru, then Gigantic Spright to be able to special summon Swap Frog to be able to send Ronin Tonin from the deck to the graveyard, make a Spright Elf, using its effect to be able to special summon Swap Frog, which will eventually get us into Totally Awesome here, and then using the battle phase to be able to get rid of this board. So it looks like the opposing player is going to be at a huge disadvantage because right here we have the ability to be able to negate with Spright Red, tributing off a level Link or XC2 monster. We also have Totally Awesome, which can negate twice, provided that we use this effect to be able to negate the activation of a card, and our opponent has a monster on the field to be able to use Spright Elf to revive the Totally Awesome, and Gigantic Spright will be able to special summon a monster from deck to allow us to continue to play. It's going to be really rough for Floowandereeze, as Impin is going to be the draw. Dupe Frog to the side of the field. They're going to summon Robina, of course, activate the effect of Eaglin and the Toucan as Chainlink 2. And this is actually a really interesting situation that Floowandereeze does have against the Spright strategy, is if they do it correctly, they can actually prevent their Robina, their Eaglin, and all of their important monsters from being negated by the effects of Totally Awesome. So really interesting that Floowandereeze actually has something against the strategy when it does make its board. Normal summoning Eaglin, Robina is going to be Chainlink 2 to protect, and then summoning Stree is going to target the Ronatonin, but the Totally Awesome will negate, then summon back to the side of the field. Another thing I want to note about this particular situation is that if you use Totally Awesome to negate your opponent's card, and then use Spright Elf as Chainlink 2 to special summon back the Totally Awesome, you won't be able to activate Totally Awesome's effect to be able to add a water monster from the graveyard to the hand, so be mindful of that. Also, even if the opposing player did not activate the effect of both Floowandereeze monsters on game 2, there's still choke points to be able to negate the Floowandereeze strategy before it can get into what it wants to do. The next matchup is Swordsoul, and Swordsoul can actually be quite problematic for the Spright strategy if it gets to go first, because not only does Swordsoul make really big boards, monsters that Spright can't necessarily easily get rid of, there's also the potential to be able to OTK at the drop of the dime and be able to break the Spright board. So pretty in the favor of the Swordsoul if you had to ask me. If we were to play 10 games, I think Swordsoul would win 7 out of the 10. Starting off, the Swordsoul is going to go first, special summoning Vishuda, turning it into a Monk of the Tingye, and then immediately we're going to DD Crow the Vishuda. From there, the Moye will be met from Infinite Impermanence, so the ability to play 8 million hand traps in Spright does 100% come up. Then the normal summon of Swap Frog will meet Ronatonin, special summon the Spright Jet, using it to add a Spright starter. From here, Gigantic Spright will special summon another Spright Frog, using Spright Frog's effect to be able to send another Swap Frog, Spright Frog. And then the effect of Spright Elf will special summon Swap Frog, sending to the graveyard, summoning Ronatonin, and into our Totally Awesome. From there, we break the Swordsoul board, activate a Spright starter, attack with the Spright Red, and we have pretty much full combo. The protection from Totally Awesome, the negation through Spright Red and Totally Awesome, and Spright Elf to be able to special summon. Now, how does Swordsoul combat this? Well, Shathana is going to make a Monk of the Tingye. We have to negate the Vishuda, or it will get rid of our cards, adding the Swap Frog. From there, they can go ahead and normal summon Taiye, use the effect of Taiye. And imagine if we did not have the ability to get into Spright Red, this would be a huge problem, as Boxia Brightness of Yangzing could come up to be able to ruin the entire day, or a well-timed Dark Ruler No More or Forbidden Droplets can really hurt this deck. So going against the Swordsoul strategy, of course, we side in Dark Ruler No Mores and Raigekis, but as you can see, none of them are in hand, which can be a huge problem against this deck. Main reason is because, again, the Swordsoul strategy can summon huge monsters to the side of the field, and even if they did not have effects, Spright has a really hard time getting rid of those really powerful monsters. This time around, it's going to be a Long Yuan, a Swordsoul Emergence, an Ashuna, a Vessel, and an Adara, so it looks like it's full combo here against a Deep Sea Diva, a Carrot, a Spright starter, and double Spright Blue. So Swordsoul is going to go ahead and start off by activating the Ashuna, summoning it to the side of the field, using it to make a Monk of the Tingye, and then not using the effect of Adara to summon itself to the side of the field, and then the effect of Ashuna to be able to special summon. Really, really interesting. Long Yuan will then be able to bring out a token, synchro summoning into the synchro Long Yuan, and then activating Swordsoul Emergence to be able to add normal summoning the Moye to be able to synchro summon into the Shishao, being able to draw 2 cards and search a Swordsoul Blackout. Finally, going to use the Adara to special summon the Vishuda, and then adding the Adara to the hand and passing turn with 2 set face down. So this isn't the most optimal board. Normally it's a Draco Berserker of Tinye as well, but it's still going to be extremely hard, as the 6th card here is going to be a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Or really wish that that card was one of the opening cards, but sometimes you're punished. So how are we going to navigate this board? We'll normal summon Deep Sea Diva. That will get negated with the Yugioh. I do think that that is incorrect, because as long as we have another Spright starter, it doesn't really matter. We'll spell summon Spright Carrot. He'll banish it with the effect of Long Yuan. Then we'll spell summon Spright Blue to get Spright Jet. Spell summoning Spright Jet to be able to add a Spright starter. We'll link summon into Spright Elf, synchro summon into, or Xe summon into Gigantes, and then immediately make a Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. I know for a fact he did not see that coming, as we were trying to bait the blackout, but after realizing that they're just going to use their monster effects before the blackout, making Divine Arsenal AA Zeus is the best play to not only ruin the board, but still have a little bit of reprieve in the next turn. So Divine Arsenal AA Zeus will detach 2 cards, never punish, send all cards on the field to the graveyard, and we broke the board with some good follow-up. The Ashino will special summon itself to the side of the field. We are forced to use Zeus, as there is a Bushido in the graveyard, and then Moye will find a Ghost Ogre, but he has Called by the Grave. Sheesh. He'll special summon his token to the side of the field, then Bushido to get rid of the Zeus, special summoning the Shatana from his deck, making a Grandmaster Yugioh, adding a Sacred Swordsoul summon and another Long Yuan, using its effect to discard the Adara, special summon a token, synchro summon into Xingying, and this is enough for game. Just showing you how the Swordsoul strategy is not lacking into the new format. It is 100% a really powerful deck that can still go toe-to-toe with some of the new strategies coming out in Power of the Elements. Going into game 3, this is go hard or go home. And I already have a strong feeling that the Swordsoul strategy is siding in cards like Dark Ruler no more. So I actually decided to let Swordsoul go first to see how they would react to be able to have those dead Dark Ruler no mores. Unfortunately, you can see there's a Forbidden Droplet, so this might be punished, as Swordsoul will open an Imperm, a Taiye, a Moye, a Long Yuan, and a Forbidden Droplet against the Dark Ruler no more, the game-winning card. Ghost Ogre, Spright Jet, Imperm, and Prosperity. So this is going to be a really interesting game, as hand traps seem to be taking over here. Swordsoul will go first, normal summoning Moye, revealing, and then we'll Ghost Ogre the Moye, of course. They'll get a token to the side of the field, but has the extender with the Long Yuan, discarding the Taiye, and then synchro summoning into the Long Yuan. Burning for 12, they'll set 2 and pass, and that's actually, there's actually a really, really crazy board to deal with. There's a Forbidden Droplet, Infinite Impermanence, and the Long Yuan Synchro, which can be really problematic for the strategy, as it can get rid of the summon monster to the side of the field, and if the Spright strategy does lose its level 2 monster, it can really struggle. We're gonna go ahead and Pot of Prosperity using 3, hoping to get something interesting. It's the Raigeki, boys! Better than the Dark Ruler no more. He'll use the Synchro Long Yuan to be able to burn for 12. We'll get over his board, special summoning Spright Blue and the Spright Jet. That will get Imperm. Definitely not a particular point where you want to Imperm, as Gigantic Spright will special summon Swap Frog right here. Swap Frog will send the Ronin Tone into the graveyard, summoning Spright Elf, using its effect to be able to special summon Swap Frog again, sending another Swap Frog to summon Roni Boy and make the Totally Awesome. We have full control over this game. The opponent is top decking Infinite Impermanence and a Double Toad Negate with a Dupe Frog on the side of the field. They draw a Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. Using its effect, we know there's nothing else. They use the Forbidden Droplet. That's fine. I don't know what they're going to negate here, but we're going to go ahead and prevent the Vessel from being activated, special summoning or adding the Totally Awesome back, and then following up by using the Ronnie to special summon the Ronin Totem, special summoning the Totally Awesome again, Spright Jet to get a Spright starter, make the Gigantic Spright 3200 attack, and finally using Spright Blue to add Spright Red, making the Cat Shark to double the Spright Gigantic's attack, and going for game. Game 3, we are going to be going against the TheCaliEffect's Despia. It is going to be really, really interesting to see the interactions between the Spright strategy and Despia as we opened Nibiru the Primal Being. God, you're really just a cross-out target, but why couldn't you be against Swordsoul? Infinite Impermanence, Crossout Designator, and Spright Starter with a Deep Sea Diva against the opponent's Paradise, the Frightful Patchwork, Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, Branded Opening, and a Polymerization. So both of us opened fairly mid-hands. I do have full combo. He actually has full combo, but it's going to require a little bit of work. Unfortunately, no hand traps on his side, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the Deep Sea Diva, Diva to summon Diva to the side of the field, then immediately make the Gigantic Spright, using its effect to be able to spell summon Swap Frog. As you know, Swap Frog will send Ronin Totem, then we'll link into the Spright Elf, spell summoning the Swap Frog, which is standard combo, using its effect to be able to send Swap Frog, and then summon the Ronin Totem, making the Totally Awesome. We'll then activate Spright Starter to spell summon Spright Blue, and this is when I realized that I don't play the Spright cards that I need to play inside of the deck, or the level 2 monsters, XE2 monster that I need to play for that extra disruption. I could have made an IP Masquerena here, but I mean, IP Masquerena, it just didn't feel good. Regardless, I still have Crossout Designator and Infinite Impermanence. Decided to keep the Spright Starter, which is a little wrong. Could have used that to spell summon Spright Red, but probably was concerned about the crackback. So let's go ahead and see how Despia plays, as the deck normally doesn't play hand traps anyways. We're going to use Totally Awesome to attempt to special summon. They'll activate Branded Opening. We'll allow that to go through. For the Aliber, we have the Infinite Impermanence. We need that Aliber to actually stay on the side of the field for a good reason. They'll go Fright for Patchwork, and then Branded Paradise. We have to negate that. Then we'll use the effect of Totally Awesome to add the Diva, and since the opponent has a monster, that's why we kept the Aliber, we'll spell summon the Totally Awesome back. They'll go Polymerization, we'll go Totally Awesome again, and then we'll add the Swap Frog. They just so happen to have another Polymerization. Going into Despia and Queritus, they'll then use the effect to turn every monster to 0, attacking into our Duke Frog. We'll get Swap Frog in return, and he passes the ball back to us. We're able to dwindle the Despia's resources, as we'll use Spright Elf to spell summon Totally Awesome, then link everything into an Underworld Goth Mommy. Diva for Diva, making the Cat Shark, spell summoning the Swap Frog, using Cat Shark to double Totally Awesome's attack, and that is enough for game. It's really interesting to see how the Despia strategy might have to adapt to Sprights. If they play just an all gas version with no hand traps, they could really be in for something, as Spright can typically play through the boards. Mirror Jade can only banish one of the level 2s, meaning that if you start off with a Nimble Beaver or a Deep Sea Diva, you can still continue to keep playing, and that is a whole nother problem. They're going to need to get rid of both level 2s in order for you to be able to play. This time around, or for you not to be able to play. This time around against Despia, they're going to open Ab Libitum, Branded Fusion, Tribrigate Mercurial, Polymerization, D-Barrier, Spice, and we're going to open the Diva, double Spright Jet, double Imperm. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out, as the gas strategy is going to start off with Branded Fusion into the Lobelian. Of course, we will use Infinite Impermanence on that. He'll follow up by using Tragedy to be able to add Aliber, summoning the Aliber, and we'll Infinite Impermanence on that too. He will set the D-Barrier, then activate Polymerization, fusing into a Dragostapelia, and here is where we run into our problem. We'll draw for turn, normal summon a Deep Sea Diva. They will then negate our Deep Sea Diva with the Dragostapelia, and what? Es no bueno. Deep Sea Diva is a level 1 monster now because of Planetplat Dragostapelia, meaning that we can't summon Spright monsters to our side of the field. This card's an FTK. It's a literal FTK against the Spright strategy. Not only does it stop your starter to summon an extender, it also turns the starter into a level 1 monster. I think we may have figured out a strategy that really could put the hurting on Spright. So going into his turn, he's going to go ahead and get the Despian Tragedy. Using the effect of Tragedy, he'll set the Branded Fusion. Now Branded Fusion will special summon Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade will then send Albion to banish the Diva and then attack for a free 3000. And then from there, of course, Albion will be able to set a Branded in red. We'll draw for turn here, another Infinite Impermanence. We'll summon Spright Jet, attempting to summon the other Spright Jet. They'll go Branded in red, summoning the Masquerade, and then Abliptum to be able to special summon the Dragostapelia. Prioritizing the Dragostapelia is actually a really smart move. Spright Jet will be negated with the Mercurial, and then they'll D-Barrier for Exceed. Es no bueno. We'll summon into the Spright Elf with no real targets to be able to spell summon. They'll Dragostapelia our Spright Elf. We'll set a card face down, and that's going to be the end of our turn, passing it back over. They'll go Aliber. We'll use the effect of Spright Elf. Of course, they don't have to do anything, as it does have a counter with Dragostapelia. That is pretty much game over. As you can see, Dragostapelia is literally the answer against the Spright strategy, at least in base form or in combo form with the Deep Sea Diva, as turning that level 2 monster into a level 1. GG's. And now we are into game 3. This is where it matters the most. We are going to open relatively the same hand against relatively the same hand. Branded Fusion, Fairy Tail, Snow, Abliptum, Dramaturge, and the Edgem Chain meets their hand as Double Jet, Crossout Designator, Raigeki, and Infinite Impermanence meets our hand. This time around, we get to go ahead and go first. We are going to summon Spright Jet, special summon Spright Jet, using its effect to be able to get Spright Starter, and then we'll make the gigantic Spright. That'll special summon the Swap Frog for the decks to the side of the field, using its effect to send Ronnie Boy, and then link summoning into Spright Elf to summon the Swap Frog, doing the exact same shenanigans you guys have seen so many times before throughout this video. We'll make Totally Awesome, set 3 cards face down, and then pass turn, and it's up to him to be able to counter a Totally Awesome Duke Frog Imperm Crossout Designator for the Forbidden Droplets. He'll summon Aliber, and we'll go about the same way using Infinite Impermanence on the Aliber, and then we'll negate the Branded Fusion and set it to our side of the field with Totally Awesome. Using both effects, since they do control a monster, we'll special back the Totally Awesome and add a Swap Frog, and he has to go to end phase. Spright Starter will special summon Spright Blue, and Spright Blue will add a Spright Jet, which means that we are in complete control of this game. We'll special summon Spright Jet to be able to add Spright Starter, and then Spright Elf to be able to special summon Spright Jet, using those for a gigantic Spright, doubling the attack of it, then going for game right here. As you can see, the all-gas version of the Despia strategy has a really hard time, but ultimately you can see some perks about the Despia strategy that it has over the Spright strategy, like Dragostapelia being able to make those level 2 monsters in a level 1. That is crucial. Being able to have the ability to fusion summon into monsters like El Winda, Mirror Jade, and Guardian Chimera does get rid of the threat. So if you can use both of those monsters in tandem, getting rid of both of the level 2 monsters, the Despia deck has a chance. So the Spright strategy is really good. As far as it being a tier 0 deck, well, it 100% goes toe-to-toe with some of the top meta strategies. Its obvious strengths are being able to just say middle finger to most hand traps. Not only will Spright Red be able to block off most hand traps like Nibiru on the 5th summon, and cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, Effect Veiler, and DD Crow to be able to banish the Ronin Tonin, the ability to be able to just play through hand traps is something that is innate, built with this deck, as the only thing that you need are level 2 monsters and Spright monsters to continuously extend. Out of all the games that we tested, Deep Sea Diva didn't necessarily prove to be superior, almost a little bit inferior, as Nimble Beaver can special summon targets from the graveyard, but Deep Sea Diva does give you more combo potential. More often than not, you're not going to be able to special summon the hand trap and search it, as not only does this leave you way more open to Nibiru, something that you don't want to do, it's just not really good when you're special summoning just an Ash Blossom to your side of the field. Spright is easily a meta changer deck. In a format where a lot of strategies play a ton of hand traps, Spright kind of sideswipes them all. You pretty much need 2 hand traps at all times to be able to prevent this deck from being able to do it. But on the flip side, it does put cards like Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet into must-play cards, while maybe even thinking about or challenging the wisdom of playing 9 to 12 hand traps inside of the deck, because even when you do draw 2, sometimes Spright just has it. And that is all that I have for the Gauntlet series. Let me know what you guys think about this particular series. It was pretty fun to do. Talking about the Spright strategy that is coming out in the Power of the Elements, I hope that I was able to put some of your questions to rest. But of course, if you have any other suggestions for our new series or anything that you want to post down below in the comment section, please do so. Also, you can check out these videos if you want to see more amazing content. There's also Master Duel Cali for Master Duel content, as I'll catch you on the next one.